Hey, football fans. Hey, help me out here. Did something really, really awesome happen last night? I know I usually have a good memory about these things, but I need your help with this one. Did something very spectacular, very awesome really happen last night in the NFL? Just asking. Even when being eliminated, the Cowboys sure know how to make things fun, don't they? So Sunday Night Football featured the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, and you know, for a game, many people, especially people who don't like Dallas, for a game many people wanted to be flexed out of that spot. It ended up being pretty good. Um, uh, Dallas was up big on Tampa. Tampa was not ready for prime time at least that week. And though they had their chance, they were down two, and Baker had the ball, and all they had to do was get the field goal range. He got somehow to Rashad White, but White fumbled it, and Dallas recovered, and that was that. So the Cowboys did a good job playing spoiler hours after they were officially eliminated. Um, and as for Tampa, they picked a bad time to fall off against a team whose season was over. Here's why. The Falcons blasted the Giants, and of course, this is their first game this season with rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. starting in place of Kirk Cousins. Of course, that was the main top around the Falcons. They finally benched Kirk, and now the story I'm hearing is they're going to get rid of him. But yeah, they totally took it to the Giants, who lost their 10th in a row. But it's for the best for them because thanks to the Raiders actually winning a game, the Giants are in the driver's seat for the number one draft pick. Oh, and as I said, the Falcons win combined with Buccaneers loss. It's a first place tie at NFC South, and the Falcons have the tiebreaker because they beat Tampa twice. So yeah, Tampa entered Week 16 in full control of their own destiny as far as winning the division. It's not the case anymore. Now they need help. Tampa needs to win out, and Atlanta needs to lose once, just once. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting in that division. The true game of the week, many would say, ended up being this game between the Eagles and the Commanders. Of course, the Eagles entered that game only needing to beat the Commanders to win the NFC East, but fate and Washington had other plans. Well, the fate part was, unfortunately, Jalen Hurts was out for the rest of the game due to concussion, and unfortunately for me, Jalen Hurts' injury was why I barely lost in my semifinal in one of my leagues. But despite game efforts elsewhere. But yeah, so they were looking good with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, but Washington, it was their day. They committed all sorts of turnovers, and yet they still managed to eke out a win. Jamison Crowder scored two touchdowns, the second of them with 6 seconds left, to end up winning the game. So Washington stays alive, and next week it's winning in for the Commanders to get in. Oh, Washington's win ended up eliminating not only the Cowboys for playoff contention, but the 49ers as well. Oh, and I mentioned the Falcons earlier. It was the Falcons. The Falcons win actually eliminated the Saints from playoff contention. They weren't the only ones who were done. Poor Cardinals. It really is a shame, isn't it? And to think they look much better than last year. They were actually in first place for a couple of weeks, yet their season is kaput because they fell off at the wrong time, and the Rams and Seahawks passed them. The Rams win during their game meant their next loss would be their last. They end up making the overtime, so they were still alive for a bit, and they were even still alive when the Cardinals' first possession ended 3-and-out. So all the Cardinals had to do was get the field goal range, but they started deep in their own territory and couldn't move an inch. Marvin Harrison wasn't catching anything. Carolina got the ball, needed a field goal. Chuba Hubbard said, "To hell with that, I'll run it all the way in." And that's it for the Cardinals season. It's just a shame. So yeah, 4 NFC teams were eliminated. 4 of them this week on right before Christmas too. My goodness. Who else is smiling over the fact that they had this guy in their starting lineup in the playoffs? Oh man, 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, a fantasy owner's dream. If you had anybody, pretty much anybody who had him in the playoffs was feeling pretty good. But if you played against him, oh dear. But yeah, the Colts needed a win to stay alive, and they got it. The Colts, Bengals, and Dolphins faced elimination, and all of them were losing out, but they all won. Miami beat the already dead Niners, and Cincinnati won over their in-state rivals. So yeah, all three are alive. So the AFC storylines looking pretty good. Leave it to Josh Allen to play like a lump of coal against a team he should be blowing out. Yes, they won, but they had to catch up against New England to do it. It's just awful. And yet they want to make an MVP out of this guy. If Lamar Jackson ever had that kind of performance, even in victory, they would bury him. I mean, just look how they're treating Lamar for losing to the Raiders. You know, but if they would lost to the Raiders, well, they're gonna make some BS excuse and still say, well, it was one of those things. It's just yeah. But anyway, so Buffalo did get their win. They dressed like the Patriots and almost played like them, but Buffalo got their win, and their hopes for the number one seed are alive, but they got to win out, and Kansas City has to lose out. That would result in a tie, and of course, Buffalo has that tiebreaker. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them, but that is my recap of week number 16. And it's going to be a hell of a week 17. We've got football tomorrow, Christmas Day, on Netflix. Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Texans. We got Thursday Night Football, Seahawks and Bears. Seahawks, they lost to Minnesota, and so they're in danger of being eliminated in this upcoming week. If they lose and the Rams win, that's it for them. And speaking of Rams, they're on Saturday, part of that Saturday triple dip on NFL Network. I love Saturday football. Sunday night game is the Commanders and Falcons. Both teams looking to get what they want. And Monday Night Football is the Lions and the 49ers, rematch of last year's NFC Championship. Of course, the Lions trashed the Bears, because who hasn't? And they're still number one in the conference by tiebreaker. But they can get it in week 17. But that's another story. So that is my recap of week 16. And if you want to check out the story on Vocal, the link is up above. And if you click that link, it features a separate story about the 3 games that are played to kick off week 16. So, if you like this video, click the like button if you're on YouTube. Click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And I'll be back very, very quickly to get those scenarios out for week 17. So stay tuned.